Eliza fetched me exactly at 6 and rushed me to the back door. Time to go. I turned around to fill my mind one last time with the bustling goings-ons and saw the obeas carrying out a large, ornate frame from the usually locked door under the staircase. I could not see the painting as Eliza gently pushed me out the screen door, loudly slamming against its frame. I spoke under my breath. "I'm not going anywhere. I have to see this Walpurgis." I hid around the back of the big house, sitting under an elderberry bush, watching the black housemen carry big wooden boxes down the outside entrance into the basement storm cellar. I fell asleep. A chilly mist of rain awoke me, wiping the drops from my face. I was confused as to where I was. It was pitch dark because it was the night of the new moon. And it was quiet except for the soft hooting of a great horned owl that was hunting from the top of the big red barn way across the property. I could barely see the several unfamiliar cars parked in the side yard. I pattered through the tall, wet grass up to the kitchen window when I heard strange cackling coming from the outside storm basement door. As I tiptoed up to it, the misty rain glistened upon the padlock. It was unlocked. It was never unlocked. This was the place I was not allowed. It was the outside access to an underground space I had never seen. So now, this was my chance to see this unknown place. I skillfully lifted the wooden covering, carefully lowering it back, and began down the hole. I had to step quietly on the stone steps for them not to hear my interruption. I was going to see this place no matter what. I was shaking, some from the cold, some from the fear. I could not get caught. The cackling grew louder as I slowly snuck down the long corridor of uneven stone steps. A faint firelight was clearing my eyes. I stopped short behind a tall wooden beam at the bottom of the stair and saw a huge underground cavern filled with dark, cloaked people and an odd circle drawn on the ground. There was an altar of some sort with burning candles and gleaming items. I recognized the scene from studying the books in my great-grandfather's library. This was an adult ceremony, a coven gathering. I had never seen one as this in person before. They started to position themselves around the circle and grew quiet. Once in place, my great-aunt started ringing a silver bell. One holding the bell, the other shaking the clapper cord. I froze as my great-aunt's chanting began in unison. "On this night of Walpurgis, all ye who are gathered before this altar will assist us in the invocation of Hecate, Queen of the Night. Yea, we also invoke every demon and devil from the abyss to assist us in our acquisition of power. We call upon the chthonic entities of the older eons from all pantheons to manifest themselves, yield unto us and acquiesce to our demands." Then the others responded, also in unison. "We, the brothers and sisters of the left-hand path, do not genuflect before the feet of any god whatsoever, but rather we seek to master all the forces of nature who are personified in the gods and goddesses of all lands. We demand apotheosis and not less, so mote it be." Then my great-aunt spoke louder and in unison again. "O Pan, we conjure thee to appear at once to provide the ancient piping of the Song of the Wood. O Mercury, we command thee to be swift in thy mission of delivering gold to our doorsteps. O Isis, goddess of magic, make us fierce and frightening to all mortals who would cross our paths. O Mammon, fill our coffers with the bounty. Yea, we implore every jinn, demon, and spirit here to yield unto us, the progeny of a magical bloodline which spans generations." The others replied, "We, the brothers and sisters of the left-hand path, fear no spirit on this night of Walpurgis. The blood that floweth in our veins giveth us the power, mastering every devil, demon, or god. Yea, we shall rule as gods ourselves ere long." My great aunts once again. "We hold the keys to hell, and we shake the very foundation of heaven in our pursuit of total power. This is our high Sabbath. So mote it be." Then the others, "So mote it be." The group started to move away from the circle, and I was afraid I would be discovered, so I blindly backed up a few stairs. They gathered at the altar, and smoke began to rise around the room in a strange configuration. It was an ugly yellow and green. It settled in the back of the underground space, and I saw a faint figure within the smoke, an animal-type being with dark eyes. Then light started to burst out of the figure in long rays. At this point, I was not sure I wanted to see anymore, though the fascination held me there like a magnet. The figure disappeared almost as quickly as it came. All the hooded people were screaming at the top of their lungs in delight, disrobing and throwing their garbs off into the circle. I had not seen much nudity before, so I knew it was time to go. At 10 years of age, it seemed kind of gross to me, so I turned and ran up the rocky flights of steps while they continued their screaming, and awkwardly on my hands and knees quickly stumbled out of the cellar door onto the wet grass, and into the cloak of night I sped. I was not seen nor heard by the Coven people, thank the devil, though I could swear the figure that loomed in the smoke stared right at me. Sexe Cérémonie Satanique. It is now 13 minutes before midnight. Fully cloaked, we now enter the ceremony chamber, my 5 female clerks and I. The walls are hung with black, with a long altar at the end, a flowing, glowing fire pit, and 13 black flickering candles illuminate the tapestries. A blood-red inverted cross is embroidered onto the curtain. A black velvet drape covers the top of the altar, which stands in the middle of a salt pinnacle circle. On top of the altar sits a chalice of sterling silver filled with henbane champagne. 3 blackened hosts sit in a silver bowl. A human skull awaits. I, the Goth Queen, drop my long cape to the floor and sit naked upon the altar. I drape my inverted rosary over my head, dropping it to my breast, and I speak the words, Sanctus, 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 Ave, Lucifere, Lucifere, Lucifere. Ave, Isis, Isis, Isis. Dark energy of this earth, strike me and fill my body. Consume me with these passions of the world. Let no sacrilege be beyond my grasp. A young male neophyte is ushered in by my 5 clerks. His robe is removed. He is stripped, covered in unguents, then whipped with leather. His manhood obviously aroused. He is led to the altar as he drinks from the chalice, and I speak the words, Isis, unleash thy pagan powers. Lead this neophyte to rapture. Let no bronze cease his carnal urges. Make him come from within himself, and let thy sacrilege begin. Insert thy unholy hosts. As the hosts are inserted, the neophyte wildly begins to rise. The flames rise from the fire pit as the clerks throw on the sulfurs. The circle starts spinning around the altar, the salt floating even to mine eyes. In nomine Astaroth, et Osmodei, et Beelzebub, introibu, all alte, omnipotens, principes, spirituem, pronunciae, le petre, au, notificat, juventuem, quia tu es, Lucifer, omnipotens. Upon the name Astaroth and Asmodei and Beelzebub, to walk into all altar, all powering beginning breath, pronuncia le pater, qua, to fertilize the age of youth, and Cupid's are respondently click. because you are shining, all-powerful. To send out to an induced condition personal enemy to join Neophysiont. In nomine Astaroth et Osmode et Beelzebub, intro ideo all alter, omnipotens principus spirituum pronunciabili praeter que lafitica junetium que tu es Lucifere omnipotens. This is a spell of many reasons. This is one of my favorite spells, drawn from hoodoo, European ceremonial magic, and chaos. Cut a piece of parchment into a 2-inch square. Write thy wish in thine own blood upon it. Crumble it up tightly in thy palm. Then touch the crumble to the flame of a red candle to set a fire. And flick it into the air, reciting these words. In the name of Paimon, I bid the darkness of evil to leave forthwith, never to come back, and make the flame my desire. If say you wish a love spell, with the spell of many reasons, draw a heart with the name of thy beloved inside the heart. If a binding spell, draw a circle, then place the name inside, and so on. The Jinxing Spell. At midnight, approach thine altar with thy blessed athame. Incise a black candle with the name of the person thou wishes to jinx 3 times from bottom to top. Light the candle and repeat these words. Churl, I hex thy luck. Naught that is positive will ever come of thee. Henceforth, all thou wilt know is sadness, darkness, and torment. Let the candle burn down. When it is done, perform a banishing of the area. The Crossroads Spell. If thou wishest to decide one way over another, at midnight, draw an X mark with a willow branch on a path that splits. Stand on the X and repeat these words. O Hecate, guardian of the doorway, between the night and day, I invoke thee as I stand at the crossroads under the full moon. Reveal unto me things yet to come, and gift me the power to change them as I wish. Money Conjure. Light a green candle and drip it onto thy naked body, and repeat these words. I call upon the magnanimous solar power of the sun to grant me the riches of the world which I desire, and to fulfill the demon spirits. Et implere vocum demonium spirituum. Love Spell. Procure 2 candles, one shaped as thyself, and one shaped as the object of thy desire. Inscribe the names of each of you into the candles. At midnight, light the candles on thine altar, and repeat these words. O candles burning bright under the cover of night, deliver to me the object of my desire. May they serve me as my vessel from this very hour. Now run a feather back and forth through the flames carefully, not to burn it while chanting. Fly to me, my desired one. Fly to me. Chaos Magick. I developed a form of magic in the late 1960s, which I called chaos because I would order wild energies into certain patterns like a puzzle. It was to shorten the process, and this is easier done if one is a sensitive or medium and have a natural talent or intuition to control situations or to control a certain space. Since I was introduced to magic at a young age by not only my Western European ancestors, who were mostly Welsh and English, but by obeas who worked in their mansion. I began to combine the two, which I came to refer to as chaos magic. It is an attitude, a philosophy, that promotes experimentation and creativity while discarding dogmatic rules. Chaos magic points out that the techniques more than the symbols are what matter, and that our brain workings are more powerful than we have normally developed. And belief in a system is actually what makes it work. Blinds are slipped into text of spells, and one must find the blind or develop their own. These are simply patterns to unravel and then put them into an order. Energies are floating chaotically, and one must try and separate and rein the needed ones together in an order to control situations. As a child, odd things would happen to me. As I could go to a wooded area and wild animals and birds would come out of the woods and surround me. And I would also see things happen before they actually did. My brain was wired differently, able to receive messages, and my ears would ring, and sometimes a glass of liquid would slide off of a table. Sigil magic is also used, and this is the use of drawn sigils. You charge the sigil, and it represents a particular desire or intention. So mote it be.